Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will dive into the cmBuilder Earthwork tool. You can use this tool to create comprehensive excavation plans with several operations, including cuts, fills, ramps, and trenches. You can also extract quantity takeoffs for your excavation volumes. A quick note before we begin. The default topography in cmBuilder is an approximation of the actual terrain in the map area. If you'd like to modify the terrain to increase the accuracy, refer to the custom terrain pages of our user guide. Let's get started. Click on Earthwork under the Terrain tool to open up the excavation menu on the right side of your screen. This menu has two tabs, Add Operations and Earthwork Plan. Use the first tab to add new operations, and the second one to manage the existing ones. Also, you can access the Earthwork takeoff and settings in the side sheet toolbar, where you can export the volume takeoff and adjust some visual settings respectively. As best practice, we suggest importing references like drawings or 3D models to improve the excavation accuracy. You can find additional instructions in our Drawing Overlay and Upload BIM Models tutorial videos. Remember to check the elevation of the default terrain near your site, as we will be using the sea level as reference for some of the operations. Let's start by creating a cut operation. Select Cut to create an excavation. Click anywhere on the map to start sketching and create the cut shape. The selected point in the terrain topography will define the sea level elevation of the sketching plane and top reference of your cut. Use the sketch tools like to draw the shape of your cut operation. If you have imported a 3D model for the foundation structure, we recommend using the Project command to quickly draw the sketch. Refer to our Sketch Tools video tutorial in the playlist for more tips. Once you complete your sketch, a new cut will appear on the site plan, along with the side sheet and toolbar for additional commands, such as returning to the Earthwork plan, editing the sketch, or adjusting more parameters. Use the pencil to rename the cut operation, the timeline selection to define in which milestone and order the operation should modify the terrain, and the color selection to define the bottom and side colors of your cut. There are two types of cut operations, cut to depth and cut to terrain. Click on Cut to Depth to create a cut with a flat bottom, parallel to the Z-plane. This option is mostly used to create bulk and detailed excavations. Sketch Elevation defines the sea level reference of the top of your cut and can be defined by a value input or by selecting a point on your terrain. Cut Depth defines the distance between the bottom surface and the sketch elevation. By default, the cut depth will be either 3 meters, meaning about 10 feet, or the value you used for your previous cut. Bottom elevation defines the sea level reference of the cut's bottom surface and can be defined by entering a value or by selecting a point on your terrain. Next, to edit your cut slope, click the Adjust button on the top left corner of the cut side menu. The Slope In and Slope Out options will define the direction of your slopes according to the sketch. You can choose between a constant slope ratio or customize it for each wall. Click on the blue circles on the side panel or the 3D view to activate or deactivate the slopes for each wall. You can also define the top elevation of your slopes by entering a value in the field or selecting an elevation from the 3D viewer. Click the trash bin to reset the top elevation. Click Done or the back arrow at the top to confirm your slope settings. Select Cut to Terrain to create a cut as an offset of the terrain, whether it is the default terrain or your customized one. You can use this option to create site clearings and civil utility trenches. By default, the offset will be set to 0, and you can input a depth value or adjust it from the handles in the 3D space. Note that walls cannot be sloped when using the Cut to Terrain feature. Click Done to confirm the cut operation, or click the trash bin to delete it. Next, let's look at how to create a fill in your site plan. Fill operation steps and parameters work similarly to cuts, but add material instead of removing. Click on the Fill button and create a sketch on your terrain. The sketch elevation will be defined by the first point you selected. Create the profile for your fill the same way we did for the cut operation, then confirm the sketch. Click on Fill to Height to create a fill with a flat top parallel to the Z-plane. This option is useful for creating plateaus, stockpiles, and leveled surfaces. Sketch Elevation defines the sea level reference of the bottom of your fill. Fill Height defines the distance between the sketch elevation and top of your fill. Top elevation defines the sea level reference of the fill top surface. Use the Adjust tab to add slopes to the fill, choose slope directions, adjust ratios, and define which walls to be sloped, just like the cut operation. Click on Fill to Terrain to create a fill as an offset of the current terrain. You can use this to create backfills and graded fills. The offset will be set to 0 by default. You can input an offset value or adjust it in the 3D space. Click Done to confirm the fill operation, or click the trash bin to delete it. Now let's learn about the two types of ramp operations in cmBuilder. You can use a positive ramp to add a ramp volume, or a negative ramp to remove a ramp volume from the perimeter of an excavation operation. Both ramp types can only be placed against vertical or sloped excavation walls. Click on the desired location once the preview shape turns from red to blue to validate the placement. A side sheet will pop up, and here you can change similar default parameters like name, timeline, and color. For positive ramps, toggle Include as Earthwork Volume on or off to specify how the ramp will be accounted for in the excavation takeoff. Click the Adjust button to define the width, height, and percentage grade in the side sheet, and the run length will be automatically calculated. The stable soil angle values will define the slope ratio for the ramp sides. You can input 0 if you would like to create a vertical side. Click Done to confirm the ramp placement, reposition to change the ramp location, or click the trash bin to delete it. Lastly, let's learn about trenches. Start by selecting the trench operation and clicking on the map to begin a sketch. Trenches are defined by a single line, which represents the center of the trench. You can draw this path with straight lines or arcs, depending on the layout you need. Once you confirm the sketch, the Trench Properties panel will appear. Here you can rename the trench with the pencil icon, assign it to a milestone, set its order, and choose a side color. Next, define the trench profile. You can choose a straight profile or a sloped one. In this case, you'll be able to adjust the slope ratio as well. Below, you'll find the main parameters. The trench width can be set here, and the elevation will default to the first point you picked in your sketch. You can adjust this value manually or use the 3D viewer to set a new elevation. Depth and bottom elevation are linked, so changing one will update the other automatically. Just use whichever works best for your design. You can also slope the trench bottom by applying a grade percentage, which is especially useful for planning sloped piping, for example. And of course, you can edit your sketch at any time if adjustments are needed. When everything looks good, click Done to confirm the trench, or the trash bin if you want to discard it. One last comment. Note that the timeline for excavation operations in cmBuilder works differently than other objects. This is because the tool is designed to follow the same steps you would take on a real construction site. You can decide when to start an excavation operation, but you cannot set an end date for it. If you ever need to remove a cut, a trench, or a negative ramp, you must backfill it using a fill operation. On the other hand, if you want to remove a positive ramp, you need to perform a cut to remove the soil. And with this last note, we conclude part 1 of our excavation tutorial. To learn how to manage the excavation plan and extract a quantity takeoff, be sure to watch the second part. Thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial video.